Today we're going to explore football's strangest players and their unbelievable stories. From wild careers to pure chaos, they're unforgettable to say the least. Mario Balotelli made his entry into the football world like a thunderstorm that refused to read the weather report. One moment, he's scoring screamers. The next, he's setting his bathroom on fire because, well, fireworks seemed like a good halftime activity. Only Balotelli could turn a Premier League title race into a circus and still be the man who assisted Aguero's immortal goal. He fought managers, ask Mancini about that, broke curfews, adopted a pig, wrestled camera crew in the tunnel, and once drove into a women's prison just to, well, have a look. Somewhere between genius and madness, Balotelli built his own brand of football logic, unpredictable, hilarious, and somewhat brilliant. He grew up black in Italy before Italy was even ready for that. He faced racism, isolation, and pressure no meme could ever capture. And maybe that's why the chaos never stopped. Fans mocked him, pundits misunderstood him, and Italy never quite knew what to do with him. Balotelli never played it safe. He played loud. The man could score a worldie, start a fire, and still show up the next day asking, "Why always me?" Because nobody else could ever be him. Now, Morata's career is like watching a striker dribble through life with the wrong boots on. Every club sees the potential, yeah, but every fan hopes the curse ends, and somehow he still finds a new way to prove everybody wrong. He's played for Real Madrid, Juventus, Chelsea, Atletico, Milan, and now Como. It's like he's collecting passport stamps instead of trophies. And when Milan called, Morata thought it was his rebirth. Instead, it felt more like another missed sitter from 2 yards out. The goals dried up, the smiles disappeared, and reality tackled him harder than any defender ever did. Later, he admitted leaving Atletico was a mistake, that he ignored Simone's calls and his father's advice because he just wanted to feel loved again. He chased love the way Andre Onana chases clean sheets, full of effort, but always ending in heartbreak. At Atletico, he gained a family. At Milan, he had regret. And now at Como, he's chasing peace yet again. Some players are haunted by missed chances. Morata is haunted by all the clubs that believed he'd stopped missing them. Adriano was supposed to be Brazil's next god, the heir to Ronaldo's throne, a monster in boots, 6'2" with a left foot that could bend steel. And for a moment, he was everything football dreamed of. Power, grace, chaos, and samba rolled into one. Inter Milan thought they'd found immortality. Then came the call that changed everything. His father died, and something deep within him went quiet. The smile, the roar, the joy of scoring, gone. He tried to replace it with vodka, carnival noise, and nights back home in Villa Cruzeiro. People saw a party boy. They missed the man in pain. Europe couldn't handle Adriano. They wanted goals, not grief. So he left. He traded San Siro for a street corner where everyone knew his name and nobody asked questions. Some say he wasted his talent. Maybe. But when the world demanded he be Ronaldo, Adriano chose to be human. And in football, that is the biggest sin of all. There was a time when Mauro Icardi looked like a future Ballon d'Or contender. Now he's one push notification away from starring in a Netflix drama called VAR, Love and Lies. Inter Milan's top scorer, captain, fan favorite, and then boom, faded faster than that 41st minute Giroud and Dembele substitution at the 2022 World Cup final match. All because of a rumor that Wanda Nara, his wife and agent, was supposedly involved with teammate Marcelo Brozovic. The story was fake, but the fallout was very real. Either way, that would have been karma knocking on his door after what he did to Maxi Lopez. The dressing room turned on him, the armband disappeared, and Icardi stopped fighting more headlines than defenders. He didn't lose form, he lost peace. Instead of goals, we got gossip. Instead of trophies, we got Instagram lives. And when the chaos followed him to Galatasaray, complete with a viral headbutt to a fan, it confirmed what everyone feared. Mauro never left the drama, he just changed leagues. He was football's most dramatic plot twist talent who scored goals like poetry, then turned his own career into reality TV. Gattuso played football the way one drunk uncle argues at family dinner. Loud, furious, and somehow always right. He wasn't out there to pass the ball, he was out there to make it suffer. The man didn't need flair or tricks. His first touch was violent, and somehow it worked. He ate the same meal every single day, rice and chicken, and lived like a monk who cursed in 5 languages. Once before a Champions League semi, a teammate mocked his diet while eating ice cream. Gattuso calmly stabbed him with a fork, and that's the calm version. He shouted at Ronaldo, tried to choke Joe Jordan, and probably scared referees into early retirement. But let me say this, no player loved his club like he did. He fought for Milan with a heart too big for modern football. Gattuso chased passion the way Tottenham chases Arsenal's shadow, loud, desperate, and destined to end in chaos. Look, you can laugh at his madness, but deep down, you kind of wish football still had more of it. Luis Suárez played football like it was survival training. He didn't just want to win, he wanted to leave bite marks on victory itself. The man could score a hat trick, kiss the badge, and then try to take a literal chunk out of a defender. Here's the worst part, you'd still pick him for your team. Every single time. The Chiellini bite at the 2014 World Cup broke him. The world treated him like he'd bitten the Vatican. 4 months banned, no Barcelona unveiling, and too much time to think. He even told his wife he just collided. Imagine that level of optimism. That's not denial. That's a striker's instinct refusing to retire. Then he came back and tore Spain apart like a man avenging his own obituary. People call him dirty, I call him honest. Suárez didn't pretend to be polite. He played the game the way others only dream about. Football now feels too polite, too rehearsed, too afraid of a little blood on the shirt. Suárez would never survive in this era of brand deals and smiles. The man once bit a defender live on TV and still made kids cry when he left Barcelona. That's poetry with teeth. Diego Costa didn't just play football, he started small wars and scored goals during the ceasefire. The man came from the streets of Lagardo, where the only referee was survival, and he was always against you. Out there, you didn't pass the ball. You passed the blame, and Costa carried that same spirit into every single stadium he ever walked into. At Chelsea, he made Premier League defenders question their career choices. One minute, he'd shoulder barge you into the advertising boards, and then the next, he'd score a goal and wink like Zidane at a World Cup final. He was part striker, part street philosopher. If passion were a stat, he'd have led Europe 3 seasons in a row. He wasn't graceful like Henry or polite like Benzema. He was football's version of Iron Mike Tyson, a man who believed the game should hurt a little. Costa chased respect the way Neymar chases sympathy, loudly, dramatically, and somehow always entertaining. You could hate him, sure, but admit it, football's been boring ever since he dipped and stopped provoking defenders for fun. Nicolas and Anelka lived football like a bad relationship. Every club started with promises and ended with someone packing their bags. Arsenal, Real Madrid, Bolton, Chelsea, and even Mumbai City. It was less a career and more an emotional world tour. He was too good for most teams and too complicated for all of them. At Real Madrid, he arrived as the new superstar and couldn't even find a place to sit. 20 players told him, "That's my spot." And that's not an introduction, that's bullying in designer boots. He still scored in a Champions League semi and helped them win the trophy, then somehow he got suspended the same season. No one has ever had a shorter honeymoon in football history. They called him Le Sulk, but honestly, he just looked tired of nonsense. He didn't care about fame, only peace and the ball at his feet. The world wanted a smile. He gave them silence. A career filled with goals, transfers, and regret. Like watching a genius drag its own luggage from one club to the next. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more unbelievable football stories.